a big believer in allowing people to have their say, and even more so in enabling individuals to be able to listen to and analyse the opinions of others that may differ from theirs.
My view is a boycott would not help. I think for many of the reasons that have just been said, you know, it would be somewhat ironic. We had the World Cup in South Africa. When you look at the position of black lesbians in South Africa who are being murdered every single day, who are being arrested for, you know, even because somebody down the road thinks that they're lesbian, who are being hounded out of their streets. And yet I didn't see anybody complaining that we shouldn't be going there. We're going to Qatar. You know, all of those places, I think when I hear some of the horrendous things, and they are completely horrendous, but I think if you look back, you can even be talking about parts of America still, in the, you know, that those things are happening. It's not just Russia.
The new anti-gay law is just one aspect of a much wider, deeper crackdown on civil society. Why should young people under 18 not hear the facts about same-sex relationships, since some of them will grow up to be gay, and many of them will grow up certainly to know people who are gay? This is a very, very insidious law.
The legislation in Russia which talks about not allowing propaganda for non-traditional sexual relationships among minors. I would just draw you to the use of the word minors. What are they really getting at? They're getting at very young people, in my view. They are deliberately, the Russian government, conflating homosexuality with paedophilia.
I think by talking about minors, it's a deliberate attempt to conflate homosexuality with paedophilia. It's the oldest trick in the book of the bigots, and it plays right into Russian fears and concerns. In Russia, the purity of youth is sacrosanct, and the idea that gay men are predatory towards young men is being propagated by this pernicious legislation.
Many of the organizations that we work for are not just domestic organizations, they're also international. So any international events that occur that affect the LGBT community are something that we're interested in being involved in, particularly since the controversy in Russia was set off by a law that was passed by the Russian government. That means it's something for us to step in and analyze and look at.
Basically, every time you criticise, he's just going to play the nationalist card, and Moscow's not Russia. Every time he plays the nationalist card, he entrenches his position and he firms up his support. How do you counter that?
Can we think of an equivalent thing that happened in the West, when a Western country passed anti-gay legislation? What was going on in its economics and its politics at the time?
This is exactly the moment when we should ask, will it be safe for LGBT athletes and spectators to go to Sochi? Will it be safe for Russian people, gay or straight, to go to Sochi and voice any kind of support for LGBT people?
When I think of all the countries I've competed in, I've seen none of the country. I've gone into the village. You live in a little bubble. You don't communicate with anybody other than people in that bubble, and you leave again. And so I don't think the athletes will be absolutely safe. I don't think there's any question. I could walk around Sochi, not that I'm going to Sochi because it's the Winter Games, but I could walk around Sochi with a "I'm a big fat lesbian" t-shirt on, and nobody would bat an eyelid. I think that's the reality. But as an athlete, completely selfishly, I do think the athletes that are going to Sochi, this is the thing that they've worked for their whole life, you know, for at least the next 4 years, even longer for that for some of them. And to deny them the right to go and do that, on one hand, I think I understand why, but as an athlete it feels wrong.
My initial position was that the Games should be boycotted, and now I'm not sure, and I think I've been very much influenced by the Paralympian athlete, because I thought she was very measured and gave a very coherent response both as an athlete and I think a politician with a small p. I think she was very good in the way she presented it.
I think it's so important we all go to the Sochi Winter Olympics next year, because we can really make our presence felt.